everybody, welcome to my channel. I know it's been a while. I took a break for a variety of reasons, partially because I went on vacation. So I took a trip to Ireland, which 10 out of 10 recommend that if you have a chance to go, you go. When I got back, somebody, no one knows who, had broken the charger off into the port of my iPad, so I had to replace that so I could film. But I'm back now, and I had planned to do a vinyasa flow, but I got a migraine last Sunday, and it's really just kind of lingered throughout the week at a bit lower level, spiking, if you will, at times. So I decided that what I'm going to do today is some self-myofascial release, specifically targeting headache, tension headache, migraine. Mine's kind of like definitely got some tension going on. So for me, it doesn't help that I've had my jaw tightly clenched for 20 plus years, and that I grind my teeth at night and all those things. So we're gonna focus a little bit on the face, and then also if you are a desk worker at all, the shoulders, the upper back, and then we're gonna go all the way down to the sacrum, because our bodies are not just one muscle here or there, everything is connected. So we'll work our way all the way down. And we're just gonna start super gentle. First, just want to have you guys, oh, actually, forgot, what will you need? I'm gonna use a yoga block for part of this. I like the yoga block for what I'm gonna do it for, but you can substitute a tennis ball, or I have these heated therapy balls. They're just by Gaiam. You can buy cork balls, lacrosse balls, any type of ball that's sort of firm will work. And I actually just bought these, so I gotta open them. You'll need 2 at least. I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 of these in a sock, so I'll have 3. And we'll use this kind of sock contraption in a minute. So that's what we're gonna need for this practice. And yeah, so get yourself set up and then join me on your mat. And we are going to just begin by breathing, just kind of centering ourselves. So take a deep breath in through your nose and blow it out. I'm gonna do that a couple times, so 1 more. And blow it out. 1 more. And blow it out. Now I just want you to kind of look down, tilt your head down, and just gently roll your head over to one side so your ear is on kind of at your shoulder. And then we're going to come back to center and roll to the other side. You'll notice like my shoulders are super tense, so I'm trying to like kind of keep them down where they go. And we're just gonna take our time doing this a few times, making sure that as you're doing this, you're breathing. So don't hold your breath. A lot of times we'll do that in kind of a pain response. So if anything feels tight on this next round, so come back to center. And we're gonna work our way over, but anytime you get to like a tight spot where you feel a little stickiness, just hold it there for a few seconds, a few breaths, if you will. And then you kind of work on until you get to the next spot where things feel a little sticky. And you breathe through that. Not in any hurry with any of these movements. And these are honestly so simple. There's really no reason that I have not found time to do this at all this week. Other than sometimes we all tend to neglect self-care a little bit. And for me, a week-long headache is my body saying that it's time to slow down and take care of myself. So that's what I'm doing. Taking your time, working your way to the other side other shoulder. And then just come back to center. Look up, we're gonna have a neutral head position. And now what we're gonna work on is our sternocleidomastoid. So to locate that, it basically is just in front of your ears, and it's gonna run kind of towards the front and attach to your collarbones. So, sorry, we're gonna do one at a time. So if you wanna kind of figure out where yours is, you can turn your head and that kind of makes it pop out a little bit. But from a neutral position, we're just gonna take that muscle between your thumb and your forefinger, and you're gonna gently pinch it. You're not trying to, cut off the blood supply to your head or anything. We don't need anyone passing out. It's gentle. And you're kind of gonna lift and just gently massage that muscle as you work your way down. If you find any kind of tender spots or trigger points, you're gonna stop and hold it there, taking your time to make sure you get the whole muscle. These muscles can get really tight sometimes. And for you, you may know exactly what muscles are creating your headache, but I'm trying to cover a lot of the common ones, and we're just gonna work our way back up, because I found a spot I didn't hold long enough. Remembering your breath. And then we're gonna switch to the other side. Breathing in through your nose, out through your nose. Really stopping to gently, again, there's no need to be aggressive or rough with your body here. This is a little bit will do. And I mean, I can, already feel it kind of up the side of my head. And you might notice, like for me, the left side is much more tender and tight. So if your sides are uneven or one side takes longer than the other, that's totally fine. And if you lose the muscles, like for me, it just kind of rolled out, like just kind of reposition and get back to it. And the nice thing to me about self-myofascial release or SMR is, if someone else is doing some of these things, sometimes it can be a little painful or aggressive. Like I do have a massage booked for tomorrow, but I don't really see a reason to wait. But sometimes some of the deep tissue stuff is just downright painful. And usually most of us are kind of inclined to not hurt ourselves. So that's good. So take as long as you want with that. You can always pause your video at any point if I'm moving on and you are not ready for that. Next, we're gonna work a little bit, and you can just do some, kind of head posturing if you want. Take a deep breath in, blow that out. We're gonna work a little bit on our jaw muscles. So a lot of times, I mentioned I tend to clench, and I also do grind at night. So a lot of us end up with TMJ. And so we're just gonna take our 4 fingers, and maybe all of them don't go in, but you're gonna go kind of into the hollow of the jaw, and you're not pushing in, you're gonna push up. And what's gonna happen, this is a bit of a slow process, but as you kind of have your hands pressed here, just the natural oils from your face and your hands will allow your hands to begin to kind of glide up. And you don't have to press hard. You just need kind of a nice steady pressure. And for me, I'm getting a little bit extra. You can, if you want, and you're not like super, super tight, you can open and close your jaw as you do this. And it's gonna, pretty soon you're gonna be kind of pressing up into your cheekbones, but your fingers will just glide right over that. And you're going upwards and towards your temples, so you're gonna hit your temporalis muscle, which can also be really tight and play a role in tension headaches. And you'll go all the way up over your temples, breathing as you go, continuing just a steady upward pressure. Kind of traveling along to your hairline, or to where your hairline would be. If you don't have hair, that's okay. And when you get to your hairline, you can stay there for a minute and just kind of let that gentle pressure from your fingers cause some release in those scalp muscles. You can continue up if you like, all the way to the top of your head, or just travel along your hairline too if you want. Like if you can feel something that you think needs released, then do it. And when you're done, I'm just gonna put my hat back on and we're gonna take a nice deep breath out. Okay, now we're gonna do our trapezius muscles. So kind of these top muscles, right, can get pretty tight. And there's a couple ways we can do this. I'm going to show you just using your own hands. You can also find like a door frame and just stand with like your head to one side and press in to the door frame with your shoulder. But for right now, we're just going to kind of shrug up and kind of, so if you put your hands right here and press back, you'll hit your traps, right? And then we're going to just grab it with our thumbs and shrug your shoulders up and down a little bit while you're kind of pinning that muscle with your hands. And as you shrug, your thumbs are going to just kind of naturally go under that muscle and create a little bit of release. Travel back the way I came. Again, pausing, like so, every time I shrug up, I'm repositioning my thumbs, but I'm also maybe taking a couple of rounds at spots that feel particularly like there's a trigger point there or they're painful. And again, we're not here to hurt ourselves. If it hurts really bad or it's super tender, then back off on the pressure. Like whatever amount you're doing is going to be beneficial, so it doesn't have to be excruciating. All right, so now we're just going to roll our shoulders back a little bit. You should maybe be feeling a little looser already as you roll side to side. I know I am, but I can now feel even more that those rhomboids are super tight, so we're going to move to that. And for the rhomboids, we're going to use a tennis ball. You can also, if you'd like, use your foam roller backwards. So if you're going to do a foam roller, you just want to like lay with your shoulders over it and let them open out. For me, I want to get a little bit more targeted with just that muscle, and so I'm going to use one of these because I haven't tried them yet in today and they're still a little bit warm. So they just stay warm like for maybe 15 minutes. So you're gonna basically find where your shoulder blade is and you're gonna go inside that. So in between your shoulder blade and your spine is what we're aiming for. And so I'm just gonna lay back, and there's a couple, okay, I lost it. There's a couple of ways to do this. We could first start by going more towards the middle of the shoulder blade and lay down. Whew. And we're just gonna gently move our arm up and down. So kind of need to make some space. Like a little angel wing, like a snow angel. Okay. And then we can kind of take your hand to your shoulder and repeat this. And now we're going to go full circle. Ooh, all the way up, increasing that range of motion. And we'll go 2 or 3 times in this direction. And then we're going to stop and we're going to go back the other way. Just do that nice circular motion. Really feeling that release. And now we're just going to kind of roll ourselves on that ball. Okay? So you're going to use your body weight and just little by little roll from top to bottom with that ball. And if you find a place that's particularly tight or has a knot or a trigger point there, you're just going to rest on it for a second, maybe 3 breaths or so, and then continue working down. All the way down to like the bottom of your shoulder blade. And you can go up and down if you'd like. What's in my top? I'm going to move to a tennis ball for that next round, because honestly that hard one is a little intense for how I'm feeling today. So you kind of can choose like your tools based on how much pressure feels good to you, and your feet are just kind of planted on the ground to give you that motion that you need. Rolling back and forth. And when you feel complete and like you've kind of done what you want to do on that side, put your tennis ball to the side here. I'm going to switch back so I'm even torturing myself equally. And I'm going to put this ball right back on the other side, kind of mid shoulder blade in between, and we're going to repeat. So the arm comes up and down. And really being able to have full range of motion in our joints, creating that flexibility does improve our strength. So if you're strong and flexible as opposed to just strong and stiff, you're actually going to have more functional fitness, if you will, or functional strength, really be able to use the strength you have more effectively. So now we're going to reverse our circles, go back the other way, and just notice. So like for me, I notice like I want to make that circle not full because like right there it catches. If you need to breathe in and just blow that breath out as you hit a tight spot, really try to go for a complete circle as opposed to cutting the range of motion short, because that's really the spot that needs it the most. Go one more time here. And now I'm going to go towards just moving up all along that shoulder blade and down kind of next to the spine. Working my way back up. And again, I did not wear the best top for this because it keeps getting stuck in my top. So just reposition. position as you need to. And up as far as you need. Again, stopping and just holding it wherever that feels good to hold, or in my case it feels sort of bad to hold it, but it's like hurts so good kind of thing. So we're just gonna move one more time here, and then I'm gonna take this ball out. And you know, if you were on a foam roller moving, awesome. For everybody, I just want you to lay and now kind of put your arms out to the side. And notice if you feel like any kind of more open or able to kind of straighten your spine. We're trying to kind of get out of that head forward, hunched over posture here. So it's good to be able to do that. All right, now, another thing that I know plays a role in my own headaches is kind of that tension right under your skull. So we're gonna go for the suboccipitals. You can use a tennis ball here, or you can use the edge of the yoga block, which is what I'm gonna do. So I lay the block flat, and I'm gonna end up tipping it up on its edge just a little bit, so that the edge of the yoga block is just right at the base of my skull, or the tennis ball is. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is just really gently turn my head from side to side, letting the block or the ball kind of roll out those muscles. Again, hitting the spots where things feel sticky or tight, and just breathing into them for a few cycles of breath to release that tension. And we'll just look side to side a few times until it feels like you have worked those muscles as much as you want to. Definitely have some trigger points here on me. And I held that one for a long time because this side, so my left side is definitely like way tighter, way more sore than the right side. And I'm just gonna, oh, right there is a spot. And sometimes you'll hit a trigger point, and like for me, it's like I can feel this all the way up the top of my scalp and down my shoulder. And so those are the spots that are really, for me, probably the worst in terms of culprits for the head pain that I've had. And no matter how many medications you take for a headache, until you fix the underlying cause, you're going to continue to have headaches. So, you know, I've used my migraine meds twice this week, which is not great, but honestly, it's just gonna keep coming back. It's not going to fully break until I relieve this muscle tension and this tightness that's really kind of leading to the issue. I'm just going to hold that spot. I've kind of got little mirror spots on either side that are very similar. So that feels pretty good to me. Just kind of noting we're not going to get to a place where, you know, probably everything is as loose as you'd like it to be in one sitting. This is a practice that really I should be doing regularly, as we all should, just like yoga, meditation, and all the other things. But we all kind of fall out of these good habits. So now we're going to take our double tennis ball that's in a sock. You can buy things like this that are shaped, you know, that kind of, what we're gonna go for is these, they're called Spineless, Capitus muscles. They're these little neck muscles right around the cervical spine. And we're gonna lay back on this and target those muscles too. So basically we're gonna place this the same place we would have placed it for the occipital muscles, but we're now going to kind of roll back and forth until we feel that we're releasing neck muscles that are tight. And if you want, you can kind of move around until you find that spot. And it's going to be a little bit different for all of us. So, you know, what I'm doing may not be exactly what you're doing. Bodies are different. That is a good thing. And we're just going to kind of roll and melt into whatever tool you're using. So, you know, you don't want to resist it the whole time. You want to just let your body kind of allow that release. Okay. I could probably spend a whole hour on just my rhomboids. I can feel that there still could use some work. But we're going to move on. So, you know, we've kind of targeted, and honestly, I feel like just a lot looser, and I'm guessing you probably do too. But to keep this going, we're going to move all the way down to the sacrum, like I said, and so we're going to work a little bit on thoracic mobility. So we're going to take our foam roller, or the other thing you can do if you don't have a foam roller is roll up a yoga mat, so it's kind of tight. It's not going to give you the same level of resistance as an actual foam roller, but it's pretty good and it's a decent sub. And we're going to, you know, put it so that what we're aiming for is really right at the base of our ribs. So when I lay down, it shouldn't be like, you know, down here in my low back. It should be kind of mid-back. And I'm going to lay back. I'm going to put my feet underneath me and just let my upper body rest and roll this. It doesn't have to be a big motion because we're just going for kind of that thoracic area. A couple inches up and down. Lock your feet if you want to. In fact, you can go up your back if you want. Like for me, I'm like, don't really feel quite done with my shoulders, so I'm gonna just slowly work my way all the way down. Trying not, I should have put my hair up. Not to roll on my own hair. Okay. Just kind of walk your feet back as you get to a place where you need more movement. And I'm just going to hold here, right at kind of the base of my ribs, and let my knees sway back and forth a little just to get a little more motion. And that feels really good to me. In a slightly painful sort of way. When you feel that you are done, you can just sort of sit yourself back and remove the foam roller. And now we're going to move to our QL muscles. So these muscles in our low back, kind of in that angle where your waist is. So we're going to aim kind of like towards the spine to some pretty deep muscles. And so again, we're taking our tennis ball. I'm going to put it like right here, kind of above, you know, where you can feel your pelvic girdle next to your spine. And this isn't going to be like a huge movement, but we're just going to work that ball kind of along our spine, right to the point of the sacrum, and like just kind of work over and back. Releasing that muscle. And you may want to lean into it more or less. Breathing in as you go. And you know, if you get to the point where you just lay all the way down, that's great too. Where you're just kind of laying on the ball and moving. And when you're done, you know, any of these things can take 30 seconds, a minute, as long as you want, really. We're going to take it out, and we're going to move it to the other side, same space, like just above the pelvic girdle, right by the spine. Part of my motivation for doing this today is I don't want the massage therapist to be like, what on earth have you been doing? Because the answer is I don't even know. I'm just going to work that ball kind of back and forth. Stopping anytime I feel particular tension I want to work on. Again, not holding my breath. And when you're done, you're going to kind of move that out. And we're going to work on our glutes. So, a couple of ways we can do this. You can use the foam roller and sit on it if you like. And if you're gonna do that, then you're gonna put, like, to get on one glute or the other, you're gonna put the glute you're working, that knee, up, and you're just kind of gonna lean into it and slowly roll down all the way. Again, being really slow and deliberate to get anything that's sticking or that, you know, feels particularly tight or painful. Like right there. I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay, so we were working all the way down for a reason, and that is because everything's attached. Wow. And my glutes are tighter than I would have thought. And then we'll work our way back. I'm gonna want you to do that a couple times. I'm gonna switch to a ball so I can demonstrate what we're doing with the ball. So for the ball, you're basically gonna put it like, you know, here's the flesh of your glute, and you have, so, you know, bone that goes basically all the way around, right? So you're just gonna get into that fleshy part and work the ball all the way along, kind of like pressing into the bone. So the ball is massaging the muscle by using the bone in a way. And you're just going to do that same motion where you roll it all the way around. When you hit your sits bones, you'll kind of come back up. Oh yeah, that'll do it. And then while we're here, now that I think about it, we can also do kind of the side of our glute. So we're just gonna put the ball kind of like in that little soft spot and come up like almost as if you're gonna do a side plank, and just kind of really get that muscle. You can do your TFL if you want to move it over to the front a little bit. I'm kind of sticking to the back line today for me. Wow, I have a very tight spot there that is intense. It's intense. almost wish I hadn't done this. It's good, it's really good. Just keep breathing. If you've never done this before and you're super tight, I definitely would not start with a tennis ball or a ball at all. I would start with the foam roller, and you're gonna do the same motion. We're gonna switch to the other glute. Yeah, we did both. I was like, do we do both sides on the QL? We did. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time actually, where I start with the foam roller and then I move to the ball. So this time, opposite cheek. We get that foot up. And I just like to start at the top. And already it's like pretty tight, so I'm just gonna sit there. And you know, in terms of how long to hold it, it's kind of like, how long does it take that trigger point to relax? So, you know, you could, if you wanted, you could really do only one thing a day. You know, you could make these as shorter as long as you want. Or you could really just like do a super thorough foam roll and, you know, really take your time until things completely sort of just melt into the ball or the foam roller. So that's what we're going for, is that sort of release, you know, that sensation of like, oh, the tension's gone. So let's do that however long you need to for your own body. Just working our way slowly down that glute. You can also like kind of rock side to side, so you see like a gently sway that knee, and that's gonna really kind of get into, I mean, we're doing here like, you know, glute max, glute med, piriformis, lots of muscles being targeted here. I definitely think I did a lot more sitting at my desk this week than I have in a very long time. Just because I'm, you know, back at the office more than I have been. Remembering the whole time we're breathing, so don't hold your breath if you find a tight spot. The way really to make it feel less painful and more bearable is to breathe into it. And I'm going to do a second pass with the ball. So lay down, find that spot right at the top of my glute, and just kind of roll along the bone. Stopping anytime I feel a point that needs some attention. You can kind of give your leg a wiggle back and forth too if you want to really kind of work the ball into the muscle. Alright, just gonna kind of right to the side. And I do have a spot right there that's really tight. So I'm gonna hold that for a second, just till you feel the release. And sometimes it takes longer than others because it's almost like, you know, the point where your body stops fighting the release is where the release comes. my side now. And the ball goes just right in that side spot. Again, you can do the same motion on the foam roller if the ball creates too much intensity, and it may well do so. There's one other thing we can do while we're on our side that I'd like to show you. It's not really the back body, but when we're releasing the shoulder girdle, sometimes you do want to hit from all sides. So we're just going to release this kind of area in our armpit, and it can be pretty intense to do, but we're going to take a block, and we're going to put the ball on top of the block, and then we're going to lay on it kind of on our side and let this kind of release all those little muscles right around your shoulder girdle. And you can get up into the armpit if you would like. It can be pretty tight up in there, but to get really full range of motion of your shoulder, you kind of need all those muscles and all that mobility. So we'll just work on that for a second. Whew. And it is tight, just like I thought it would be. So just kind of work it around any spot that it feels like you need it. And when you're done on this side, we'll switch and we'll do the other side. And I'm just going to move my block and my ball. You can flip over if you prefer. So ball comes down, armpit goes right on top of it. And this muscle is always really tight on me. I'm not entirely sure what I do to keep it like that, but it is. Feels good though to like let these muscles release. Alright, that is pretty good for me. Alright, so I'm going to finish that. A couple other things you can do I'm not going to do, so we can kind of do the front side of the shoulder. A lot of times it's nice to, like, you can lay on it, but I think it's good to like find a door frame or something and press into it, and then you're just going to move your shoulder. And you can do the same thing with your traps and a door frame. You kind of have to hold the ball there to do it, but that's another example of a way to release that whole shoulder or that trap muscle. And then the last thing we're going to do is our feet. And again, like you can do the backs of your legs, you can do all the way down if you'd like to take the time to do that. But you can get, you can do a tennis ball, you can do like a little, even a golf ball, but we're just gonna like kind of slowly work this ball all the way across our foot, through the arch. Again, just kind of pausing at any tight spots. It's like all creaky. And making sure you don't forget your heel, which for me really hurts. But it's good to release like all the way down. And again, if you hit anything that's tight, just give yourself a minute there. Okay, spiky one is intense. Okay, so we're gonna just move to the other foot. And very slowly work our way through the arch and the heel. Go right there to the spot too. And back. I got a spot right in the middle there. All right. So hopefully, if you also have headaches, these are some tricks that you can use to relieve the pain other than using medications or a dark room, and it'll kind of get you back to functioning. I know, honestly, I feel a ton better having done that. Like I feel like my shoulders have come down. I feel like I can, stand up straight. I'm not like just, no, I'm not tense. Are you tense? So hopefully you feel better too, even if you don't suffer from headaches. This is a great thing to do. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a great day, and join me here really soon. I'll be back into the groove of posting my weekly yoga flows. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.